Phone on. That helps. Thank you so much, John. Thank you so much. Please let us know if we've got any questions.
And if you can hear us, that'd be
great. John, if you could confirm that you can hear us, I'd be really grateful for that. Yeah, start. Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much, John.
Really good stuff. Thank you for joining, John. So do we wait for a couple more people?
We're going to wait to maybe 1 more minute because we want to aim to start promptly. If anyone's got any questions, please let us know. I really want to remember the next slide, which is here. Okay, great.
Brilliant.
So we're going to go ahead and start.
Yep.
5 things that Michelle feels, you should know before quitting your job to run your own business. Thank you for joining us, and I'm about to hand over to Michelle.
Yeah. So we're going to now turn off the webcam so that you can see the slides and let the presentation begin.
Fantastic.
All righty. So how do you turn that off?
I'll turn it off here.
Brilliant. So hi guys, I'm streaming live on Instagram at the same time.
Hello.
And we're joined by Samantha and Kay. Hi guys. Hey. So it's 5 things you should do before quitting your job. And the reason why I came up with this is because, as you know, I do HR consultancy and career coaching, but I find that I'm getting quite a few inboxes and emails of people saying that they're struggling now that they've gone into business for a number of reasons. And I just thought probably we need to be talking not so much of trying to always encourage people to leave their jobs, but let's speak the truth and to see what it really takes to run a business. So that's how this came about. And I'm joined by the lovely Kat. Can go across a bit? Yeah. And Kat has agreed to co-host with me. This is my first webinar, by the way, actually. So Kat's with us today, so thank you for that. And so Kat's going to just say a little bit of who she is and what she does, and then we can proceed.
Okay, so hello there for those who are on the webinar who've joined us. Just to reiterate, if you have any questions, please let us know and I'll be happy to help. Oh, she's got everything there and I'm just forgetting.
Forgetting who you are.
I'm forgetting who I am. Anyhow, so I've been in the online space for 3 years and consulting for maybe 16 now. And I work with entrepreneurs, corporations and coaches, do really sell their ideas, package their knowledge, and then put them into optimized sales funnels so that people can find you online and you can scale your business. I, like Michelle, met Michelle in this very market.
Yeah.
And I was happy to join Michelle when she asked me to join. I hate webinars, by the way. But yeah, so I really, my specialist area is digital marketing. So that's ultimately helping you to sell and get leads online. And again, I absolutely agree with Michelle. It's so important to understand and know your market before going out there, because not every idea is going to feed your family and pay the bills. And not every idea is actually a business. So if you've got any questions, I'll be happy to help.
Good stuff. So I just want to thank everybody who's joining today on Instagram and also on webinar. So I've put together, well, my husband's put together and I, 32 ways to test if you are ready for self-employment for 2018. Now, it's the list that I went through myself, and I was trying to tick to see how many of these I really can meet, how much of the criteria I can meet. So on the next slide, it's just talking about things like, are you, do you have an accountant, or do you have facilities to pay your taxes? How do you cope being alone? Because I don't know about you, but it's
definitely lonely.
Yeah, it can be quite lonely. Yeah. However much you go to all these networking events, it can be quite a lonely journey. Yeah. So yeah, the checklist just goes through all of those kind of things. So I wanted to share that with you. So what are you going to discover on today's webinar? So on today's webinar, we're going to look at 5 things. So the 5 things are how getting the right business idea will make people buy from you. So it's just on the next slide. And how you can confidently leave your job without worrying to pay your bills, because that is such a big thing. And so I want to actually talk about saving some money before you leave, and having that fund that you build up before you exit. A lot of people say, oh, I'm so passionate, I want to start my own business, but they haven't really thought through, how am I going to survive? How am I going to live? How am I going to pay my rent and my mortgage? So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and never burning your bridges before you leave. Let me tell you, there is something to be said for maintaining relationships with employers, past and present, because you never know when you're going to need them.
Yeah.
We'll also look at different pricing models, and I've put together 4 not so good reasons to leave your job. Yeah. And you'd be quite interested in what I'm going to say about that. So my promise to you is that we're going to be very honest. We're going to be very real. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be interactive. It's not meant to be boring. But we want to get across some strategies with you that we've learned along the way, where, we've learned the hard way. I'm more recent than Katrina, but yeah, it's been a struggle sometimes, and we just want to share that with you so that you guys don't need to make the same mistake as we did. So before we get started, just a little bit about me. I'm not going to go into details because probably most of you know me already. I have been in HR for more than 12 years, and I started doing the career coaching because when I was going into companies, I realised that I was making quite a few people redundant and dismissing them. And I just thought, right, I'm dismissing them on one hand, but where are they going afterwards? I came across so many people who haven't gone to interviews for so long, who have been so indoctrinated in the culture of their organisation that they just don't know what else is out there, and they felt so lost. So that's where the career coaching came in, and I really enjoy it. I get to speak all over, even on Friday. Unfortunately, I can't get myself over to India, but I'm live streaming to over 2,000 people, and I'm talking about entrepreneurship, the rise of technology, and how that's going to change the shape of the workforce. So that's what I'm doing on Friday, and that's what the skill set and this experience allows me to do. So be the master of your own ship. And being the master of your own ship is, for me, when I started the People's Partner, I didn't have all the resources ready. When I started, I was actually at a seminar. It was at the Wealth Dragon seminar. Now, I know Mike, I met Mike there. Mike's joined us. And that's where I first met him. We were at Wealth Dragons together. He was working there. Wow. And John Lee said, oh, I need hands up anybody who wants to start their own business. Now, I didn't want to. My husband, who's always pushing me to do things, put my arm up. And out of how many thousands of people, I was called to the front. And I was on stage. And I had to talk about this fictitious business that I didn't even have. And but because I know my craft, I could talk quite fluently about HR and why I'm more cheaper and more cost effective than a lawyer.
Hi, Mike.
Hi guys. And so so after I did that, when I came off stage, I had so many people coming to me and saying, I need your support. I really need you. How much do you charge? And all of that. I didn't have that period of time to test my business idea. I didn't have that buffer. And the same night I had a dream, and in my dream it said, you partner well with people. So I decided, why don't I call the business the People's Partner? And in a day, I registered on HMRC, Companies House, and the business started a day later.
Fantastic.
So when people say, oh, you need loads of stuff.
Okay, so Philippa Gittins is...
Oh, Philippa is on Facebook.
Okay, fine.
Oh, yeah, so she must be on there.
Yeah,
so so I started the business straight away, and I didn't have that time to get an accountant and get my papers in order and understand my market. So I didn't make that much money when I first started out, but as time went on, I did. So I want to look at the strategies. So we've got 5 strategies that we're going to talk about today on things that we really need to be considering, because like I said, in my first 2 years, I don't know about you, when did you start making money really?
that's a question. I'm just thinking now. I think the first year was definitely testing the market. And then I think I had a different business before. I was in a different industry. Probably after 8 months in really understanding the customer. And that's why it's important to spend time with and understand your customer journey.
Yeah. And that's the same thing. So that's why I thought it'd be such a great idea to get time to really test your idea. So we've got strategy here, strategy 1. So I know you guys on Instagram can't see, but we've got strategy 1, and we've said it's called choose a business idea that you're passionate about, but also solves a problem.
Right.
From my experience, and Kat's going to share hers, I find that a lot of people are so passionate about things, but it can't be monetized. I don't know about you guys, where you've got this dream and this vision and you're pushed to follow it, but it doesn't really make money.
So for the purpose of those on the webinar, we have Kay Reeve, who is over on Instagram, and she's in the testing phase now. Kay, that's fantastic. And what I would ask you is, how are you proving that it's actually a viable business? Do you have kind of like a minimum viable product that you have people currently buying into? Oh dear. Okay, we're back. Do you have a minimal viable product that people are buying into? And your product, does it solve one problem, or have you created other products that help your clients, your customers, to move through your services? So it's a really good idea to think about.
Yeah, brilliant. And so when I was looking at this idea, I thought there are about 4 types of business ideas that will work really well for 2018. So for the purposes of those on Instagram, 1 is anything around digital and technology. 2, customer service related jobs. Anything around business planning, and anything around social media.
I will just add, I mean, these are Michelle's ideas. I believe that if you're not in that market, don't be alarmed. If I were you, I would definitely look at the problems that you can solve. So find, if you're, say for instance, you're a jewellers, look at the problems, look at what people are having, and find a solution, find a way to get in the middle of the market and solve problems. It doesn't matter where you are. So Kay has come back and said she's delivering courses and getting feedback. Fantastic.
Brilliant.
Implement that and obviously make changes. Okay, great. So on to the next slide.
So on the next slide, we've got strategy insight number 2, save money before you hand in your notice. I cannot stress this enough, that so many people just leave straight away and they don't have a financial cushion. Hi, Anne-Marie. You know, they don't have a financial cushion. And I made sure that when I left my job at the end of the year. Now, that's a tip that I want to share with you guys. The reason why I say that is most organizations, from my perspective, they usually do bonuses at the end of the year. So, and bonuses are paid for work that you've done already. So even if you've handed in your notice, you're on a 2 months or 3 months notice, because you've done work already, and if you were already identified as being in the pool to get a bonus, you'll get that bonus before you leave. So that bonus goes into your pot for when you go, when you start your own next job. And the other areas that I was thinking about is retaining your overtime. When you've got overtime, save that money, open a little fund, a quitting account, I call it, and put the money in that. Why not? I mean, how did you save? Did you have any savings, Kat, before you left?
About 3 months. I was looking for a contract, and the suitable one didn't come, and I was actually really enjoying setting up the consulting business. And so I just extended it to people that I knew needed help, and I just got referrals.
Yeah, brilliant. And that's the same thing. So, and I even put on one of the slides, retain your income from your side business. Because it's going to be really small at the beginning. And people just think, oh yeah, I'm getting paid, I'm making money. But that, you're going to need all of that. You're going to need it for marketing. You're going to need it to plug back into the business. So I would say, get your calendar, mark out near the end of the year when you want to leave. So if you're positioned to get a bonus, you get the bonus. Any overtime you get, put it all in a quitting fund, because you trust me, when you do this alone, you're going to need all the money you can get. All right. So if you've got any questions on the webinar or please on Instagram,
we'll come back
please do put it in and we'll come back to you.
So Michelle has put strategy 3 is maintaining a good relationship with your employers and colleagues. It's a really good idea because they could have projects up that they could give to you. You're already known to them. They know your skill set. So it's a really good idea. Anything else, Miss?
Yeah, I would also say as well, what I did was my first big client was my old employer. So it may not work for you, but because I was doing HR before, I put in a proposal and said that why don't I provide consultancy for you? I'm a known entity. You're going to save money on NI and tax, and you won't need to have me all the time. And that's what we agreed. So they were actually my first big client. And so that worked well for me. And what I did, I wanted to keep connected, because right now I go in and I do a lot of training and development with corporations and blue chip companies, literally because I'm keeping my ear to the ground. So although, we're all very entrepreneurial, but it's good to keep contact with.
Yes, it is.
You just never know.
Yeah, and they offer really secure contracts and what else?
The husband's coming in, disturbing things. Can you close the door, please?
Thank you. So Michelle has next on the list. Add anyone with potential skills onto your LinkedIn and network with them, and don't burn bridges.
Yes.
Reach out to company external suppliers if you had a relationship with them, which I think is a great point.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And especially, those LinkedIn connections, connect with them before you leave. So they understand where the relationship has been built. You never know. It works. It's worked for me, so I don't see why it wouldn't work for you guys.
Yeah.
So, do you want to talk about this?
So, it's really important that you try to look at your pricing before you leave. Test out the model, because you're now going to be feeding yourself full time from something that may have been your side gig. If you had a daily rate previously, is that viable for your business? And just maybe, the lady above said that she had an online program. Have something that is sustainable, so that if you don't have the clients, you can promote that and push that to bring in the money. Or an affiliate product. Michelle does software. So if you're able to use a software or an affiliate product within your business that you can use to, create some income, do that alongside making sure you have the appropriate pricing model, and you have a revenue model mapped out.
Yeah, definitely. John, we're going to come back to your question, so just hold that for 2 secs for us.
Okay. Yep, I'll come back to that question. Fantastic.
So in terms of creating the pricing, I was looking at the different types of pricing models that you can start thinking about now.
Yeah.
So on our slides, we've got penetration pricing, when you price artificially low because you're new to the market.
Yeah.
When I first started coaching, I was doing £50. That's for everything, and that's for however many. £50. Listen. And I was they work me. I'm not lying. They work me for that £50.
Yeah.
Don't ask me how much I charge now.
Do some competitive analysis and double check, what is the market rate. Don't price yourself out of the market. Yeah. That's really important. But don't make yourself too cheap, because many esteem your pricing with branding, and the associations are very, very cheap, is that it may not be valuable. And of course, we know you're valuable, so don't put yourself in that position.
Yeah. And premium, and talks about premium pricing.
Yeah.
And once again, what Kat was saying is, look at what your competitors are doing.
Yeah.
And you're not looking because you want to compete.
No.
You just want to know what's out there, and you have to know the value of the type of work that you're delivering, and make sure that you have a price tag that matches that value. It's really super, super important that you do that.
And that might help if you have like an online program, so you can charge one to many. And I would maybe reserve the higher premium price point for one-on-one, or offering maintenance or supplementary support. and maybe having a product or using an asset, a digital asset or something for rental as low-hanging fruit, meaning that you can get away with offering promotions. You do not want to offer cheap bargains on your time.
And so many people easily do that. So we really got to be really careful when you sell yourself too cheap, because then people just think you're cheap and they don't respect your time. So it's I've personally experienced that, and
me too.
It's not easy.
I've had that as well, and that's fantastic to mention as well. And if you do have that, you obviously have to look at having backup in place. So can you recover? Do you have your legal systems in place to recover if that happens? And also, if you intend to be the only asset in your business, what happens when you get sick? So you need to think about that pricing structure. Are you making sure that you're able to put a bit aside for when you're not well? I've definitely been in a position that I've not had any backup, and I am my only resource. So strategy 5, and a little bit of insight is some not so great reasons for quitting your business. Quitting your job, and starting your business.
So this is what I put together, and you may or may not agree with me. So for Instagram, one of the reasons is when people say, I want freedom, so I want to start my own business. Now that one, just listen, if I was to tell you what happened yesterday, you'll understand. I went to bed so late.
1 o'clock, 2 o'clock.
Yeah, 1, 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because I remember I sent you a text and said, oh my God, I've just finished.
And I was still on.
Yeah, and if I'm really honest, I haven't reached that freedom lifestyle yet. No. And I'm totally cool with admitting that. And I find I've worked longer hours, double time. I see my daughter less. I see my husband less. Literally because less rewards, no perks, and I'm staying up really, really late. I'm waking up really, really early. So the freedom that I thought I was going to get, I haven't achieved yet.
And that's the thing. I think that some people fail to understand. I personally don't think there's anything wrong with having a job. It offers security, and if you have a family, there are going to be times when you are trying to secure clients and there's nothing at the end of the month, and there might be I've known people who've had clients say, official Mother Beyonce.
Yes, I agree.
Yes, darling, Mother Beyonce.
Beyonce.
I completely agree. I'm telling you, there's nothing wrong with a job. I want to get onto this. Many people talk about, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm this and that. It seems to be a buzzword, and honestly, I need to tell you, there's nothing wrong with having a job. I still keep my eye on the market, and after all, you are a business owner, so you need to keep an eye on cash flow. So if good opportunities come your way, be that in paid employment. The reason why me and Michelle met was really kind of systemizing your business. So once you have your business into a structure that it can be automated, you only need to be maybe at the middle level or the top level, dependent on the business that you're at. There is nothing wrong with having a job and then having part of your business automated, which means you can do both. So, don't be sold into this dream. It's not a dream. It's tiring. I myself was up to 1 o'clock daily. Sound has gone. Okay.
Sound has gone. Who said that?
On Instagram it's gone. Maybe you're covering there.
Okay.
Are you back? Because I'm here.
Can you let us know if you can hear us? And on the webinar, we're going to go back one slide.
One slide?
Yeah, go back. Just want to check. That's when we need the strong network around. Yeah, exactly. If you guys can hear, that'd be great. I just wanted to share some of the other reasons. I've been told a lot of times that people say, oh, no one else is doing it, so the market is all mine. In some cases that can work, and other cases, if no one's doing it, it may not be a great idea.
And one thing that I really want to add, do not learn on the job. It's really difficult, and I learned this myself. Michelle asked when I started earning, and actually I was still having to get certification and learn systems while trying to acquire customers. So if you are on your job, I ran into my boss the other day. I was so grateful to her. When I was transitioning, I followed the miracle morning. So I used to get up at 4 a.m., 4:30 a.m., and start studying and doing my business in the morning, cooking dinner, going to my job, and then during my lunch break, I would work on my business, and my manager would check my business plan. I told her I wanted to exit. She was totally fine with that. So get people will buy into it and jump on board. And I did that. So I joined the Miracle Morning, and I also bought a book. And if you're thinking of leaving, it's great. I bought the $100 Startup. It's amazing. Absolutely great resource. Gives you lots of ideas for other people who have done what you want to do.
Brilliant. And one of the other things on the slide is one of the reasons not to start a job is because other people think it is a great idea. It's got to be great to you and for you. A lot. I'm not here. I don't slag off any other coaches, but no, you haven't missed anything. But I do believe that a lot of people are told or feel pressured or feel left out, and they think, yeah, let's start this business. And it's probably not right for them.
No.
And it's okay that it's not right for you, because it's not meant to be right for everybody.
Everybody has a role.
Yeah.
And you might be a supporter, you might be a researcher. It doesn't mean that you have to... many people struggle really with all of the hats that you have to wear.
Yeah.
So you don't have to do everything. But if anyone's got any questions on that, Mike says that's when you need a strong network around. Absolutely, I completely agree.
Should we go back to John's question?
Yeah, so John Johnson has mentioned it's hard to maintain good relationships with your current job when you're forever thinking about your own business. I do completely agree. And sometimes there's a conflict of interest and you're not able to do that. In that instance, I usually protect myself or shut down some walls if they're still trying to kind of peep. And if you're in that instance, you're completely right, John.
And also to add to that, John, and to anybody else who's listening, I would say to make sure that when you are starting your own business, that you check your contracts first.
Yes.
I've been called in a number of times where they have a clause that says you can't work for somebody else. But even if you're working for yourself, that is classed as working for someone else. Yeah. So, and most employers are good enough that you can negotiate and say, well, I want to run my own business. If you have that type of relationship where you can explain that you're not going to steal their ideas, their suppliers, their customers, their clients, and that's really important.
Yeah, and also if you're at that stage, you completely know you're not going to do it. I have people I subcontract at the moment, and I have people in my business who do the same thing as what I do, and I create a non-compete contract and an NDA. Put preventive measures in place so that, that's not an issue. And if you're still working, offer that to your boss.
Yeah, so definitely, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Like we said before, like going back to your contacts and, sending your services, your own contacts and not the contacts of the business.
Because that's going to be their concern.
Yeah.
I would even offer to use a separate mobile phone.
Yeah.
And please don't use the computer that you're using for them to do that. So just to recap for those on the webinar, and we have more joiners on the webinar, if you've got any questions, please drop them into the chat and we'll address those. So Michelle has just raised 5 points here, which are...
business ideas that make an impact and make money. So that's just recapping, follow your passion, but make sure the passion has a price. All right. So let's keep it real. We're in business to make money. I'm hearing loads of this. I am here to help the world, save the world. That's nice. Make sure you're getting paid for it.
Honestly,
because you have to pay your rent, pay your mortgage, look after your children. This is so. I just want to make sure.
Picking brains, and you'll get lots of people that say, "Can you pick your brains?" Or they just want to have coffee, and I get that a lot. And I just say, why? If you are working in your business now, you need to become really comfortable with charging for your time and your expertise now. And I think sometimes it doesn't feel congruent when you're moving into a profession in using a title around something that you haven't done for a long time. So if that's the case, try to relate it back to what you did in your job. Hey, Nicola, how are you, sweetheart? And find a title that you're congruent with. So perhaps you may call yourself a mentor, and after that, you can move on to perhaps calling yourself a coach. It's really difficult at what ideas is. Okay, great.
What did so we've got a question from Dee Dee.
Okay, so Dee Dee's asking, what ideas and tips do you have to test the viability of your idea? I want to test a dating service idea.
Nice.
That's brilliant. So what I would do is, for other business ideas, and when I work with my clients, I advise them to create, as I said, a minimum viable product.
Yeah.
So if that's what you want to do, pilot and test run. So perhaps put an idea out there. Remember, the purpose of this is to really test the validity. The idea is valid. And so you want to collect as much information as possible. So you could perhaps offer this free so that the people that you're trialing understand that the feedback really helps you to craft the idea. You may want to test that in different regions. You may want to test it in different demographics. I really highly recommend reading the book called The Blue Ocean Strategy.
Yeah.
It's amazing because it really helps you to craft around your idea the fact that you need to find the market. Understand your customer's journey. It's so important. Once you've created that, give yourself a timeline, test and tweak the idea, and if it doesn't make money, it doesn't mean it's not a good idea. It just may mean there are some variables that you need to come back to.
Yeah.
Anything on that?
Yeah, and I have more recent experience of that, Dee Dee, is one of my clients, she wants to start something. I'm not going to say what it is, and one of the things I asked her to do is put a survey together and ask people what they think, what they like. And she was quite reluctant to do it. Because I think deep down she probably knew that the responses that she'll get is not the ones that she's looking for. So I would say there's got to be a level of bravery. You have to be able to risk the feeling of, oh my God, they don't like my idea. There is no room for self-doubt right now. You want to test it out and be honest with the answers that you're going to get, and then utilize those answers. And like the next slide says,
that takes us on
your arcs. I don't know if you know, there's a lady called Carol Sanker, and she's very big on women. I know there's some men who have joined, so I'm not discounting you, John, Snap Power, Mike, and whoever else is on. But she is very an avid fan and influencer in making sure that women are positioned in their right place and they're getting what they are owed. And one of her themes, one of her messages is increase your arcs. Don't be afraid to ask people for help. I know it can be scary. You know, Sam is saying it can be scary.
How do you spell Carol Sanker? I think I know.
Sankar. If you can find her on LinkedIn and on Facebook, she is absolutely brilliant. She's an American lady. I reached out to her, and you know, we've been communicating. I've been following her. She's brilliant. And she was saying, don't be afraid to ask people for help. When I mean people for help, I mean people who are playing the game at a higher level than yourselves. And I think last year, I don't know if Anne-Marie is still online, but Anne-Marie, if you remember last year on Facebook, I said for International Women's Day, find 2 or 3 women who are outside of your sphere, your circle of influence, and contact them, get in and ask them for help in some way. Be brave enough to ask. There are more people out there who are willing to support and drive your vision than you know. But it's not about sucking people's time and energy. It's, you know, asking the right questions, and it's about asking questions that you wouldn't need to Google. If you can Google it, Google it.
But that takes us on not losing sight of your why. And why are you doing this? Why is the business, why have you created the business? Anne-Marie says she remembers. And what Michelle has just gone through with you, the steps that she's personally taken to leave her job and transition into running her business as a consultant full time, where her previous employer is now her client. So
Yeah, so you've listened to me, but before I haven't put the links up, and probably I should do. There's two books that I think will be really good about not losing sight of where you want to go, even though we have our challenges. One of them is called 0 to 1.
Yes.
And have you read that one?
Love it.
Yeah. And the other book is The Hard Thing About Hard Things. Now they're both focused on technology startups, but the lessons they suggest are quite universal, and it's about how to keep focus. There's another book called Deep Focus, and that just keeps your mind set. We can get so consumed with so many things. So I'm going to put the link on there. We'll put the link. Deep Focus, 0 to 1 is there. Okay, the keyboard's there. Oh yeah. Let me do that in a minute. Yeah. So 0 to 1, The Hard Thing About Hard Things, and Deep Focus. Those are 3 books that I think will really help you in setting up your business and driving that forward. So
you can email all the participants afterwards. And for anyone on there, you can put that in the links.
I can.
Okay, so imagine you started your business this year, thinking about being your own boss, and you're in control finally of your own time without the fear of being overlooked, unappreciated, or even fired. This is the ultimate game changer.
It is.
Now, let's tip the scales if you're in your favour to succeed.
Yeah.
So, over to this lady.
So that leaves me, so I've got my slide of me in my green jacket, if you can't see.
Okay.
So I've put on this workshop called Test Drive Your Business Idea, and I'm sure some of you have heard me go on about it. I feel like I've been going on about it for ages, actually. But I'm so adamant, I'm so fired up and so passionate about people, like Kat was saying, testing the market. Don't be afraid of the response, because you need to know whether your business is sustainable. And the other side of that is the mental agility. So Test Drive Your Business Idea is a 2-day workshop where we test both of those. I've come across so many people who have fallen into depression. They can't eat, they can't sleep, literally because they just don't have the tools and the strategy and the support that they need to run their business by themselves, and to have the support of friends, support of networks, resources, access to people, access to tools. And like we said, it can be quite lonely. And so how do you create a network of people? How do you make sure that you're marketing to the right people? The world of work is changing all the time, just like the world of business. You can only look at Carillion, who've just folded, multi-million, probably billion, I don't know, contracts. So many people have lost their jobs. And now my thing is, if big businesses like that can fold, where did they go wrong? And what can we do to safeguard ourselves? So over the 2 days, these are the 4 areas that I want us to look at and work on. Your idea. Is it sustainable, or is it just a fad? Clarity, making sure that you're very clear on your UVP, your unique value proposition. What makes you different? For example, I do career coaching and HR. I'm not the first or the only.
Okay, does anyone have any questions about each stage of the session? And while we're doing this, I just want to address a question on Instagram.
Go for it.
So Kay Reeve has said that 18 people were booked on her course last night. It snows, and unfortunately only 6 showed. So be prepared for setbacks.
Yes.
Positive equal, 18 booked, but made a loss. What would you advise at times like this? So Kay, I would definitely put down that I would have a definite refund policy and a disclaimer. If this is the case and you are going out of your way, I would mention that there are no refunds unless there's adverse weather. You've also said that you were running the course. I'm presuming that this is face-to-face, but I think it would be a great option to possibly think about doing that online as well, because that means that you can scale it, according to the seats on a webinar software like we're doing on the webinar. So hopefully that addresses your question, Kay. If you've got any questions, let us know. And Michelle.
Go for it.
So what will you be testing on ideas?
So we're just, this is where, like, I think it was at Dee Dee, she had an idea about the dating service. So we'll look at her market, look at who else is in that space, what are they doing, how is hers going to be different, and working out what types of people will buy from you. Who is the dating app for? Who are the people who have longevity in buying that as well? Because there's different phases, isn't there?
Yeah, and we'll also be testing out the market viability, whether this is a suitable market. We'll be doing a competitive analysis and testing out ultimately if people will buy from you. That will lead you on to clarity, understanding how to set up a business framework, and they feel very clear on your UVP. Confidence, Michelle.
Yeah,
how will you equip everyone with confidence?
Well, if you trust me for those 2 days, the first day is going to be mind-blowing. The reason being, I've got a background in NLP, and I am hoping that people will trust me enough that I can build enough rapport with you guys to break down any limiting beliefs that you have around starting your business.
Yeah.
I'm going to do certain interventions that will help increase your confidence, increase your clarity and your self-awareness. And it's going to happen right in front. We're going to do live.
Okay, so numbers. What is your conversion rate? What's your cost per transaction? Do you understand your profit and loss? What is the difference between you knowing your monthly profit and you charging your service? Now, going back to Kay's question, fantastic. She says charge up front. No more pay on the night. Absolutely, Kay. You are providing this regardless. And why not get a cameraman in to record the next one so you've then got a recorded product? So, Didi is saying, so you're being honest and telling your story without a truly unique UVP. How did you overcome that? Didi. Didi, could you clarify that for us? Now, also, Michelle will be helping you to create your vision blueprint and a winning marketing plan, your financial plan, and your employee exit plan.
Awesome. So just going back to Didi, if I think what you're asking me is how do I differentiate my services from other people, maybe? Well, I simply differentiate it because not many HR consultants have a background in NLP. So when I go into businesses, I don't just go in to dismiss and to make redundant. I also support and understand
leadership.
Exactly. And really understanding why certain people act the way they do. So, for example, I was with, you mentioned that you're not only one who does, so we're on the same wavelength. So, for example, yesterday I went into a company, they wanted to do a disciplinary on somebody and basically get rid. I went in and I was listening to what the guy was talking about, and I was watching his behaviors, listening to what he was saying and the patterns of what he was saying. And it transpired that he has an alcohol problem. So we stopped the meeting, spoke to the guys, and they were saying, no, he's got to go. And I said, what can we do to work with him? And let's understand the reason for his actions, understand that. So that's what we had to do. Right. And that's what makes me slightly different from other coaches and other HR consultants.
Okay, so what you will also get? You will also get 2 follow-up group accountability calls, valued at £254.
Yep. Complimentary Facebook ads worth 120. We've got a gentleman by the name of Mike Smith who's going to be doing that for us. And anything you need around Facebook advertising, he'll be there to support you on that. You'll also get access to the online course on how to network effectively with key people of influence. This is really important because I find that certain people don't know how to network and it can be quite awkward. So there's you get access to that. Legal documents, even Kat mentioned it earlier about contracts, NDAs, non-compete
contracts,
all of that. Remember, I work with a legal team, so I can get all of that for you. The financial sheets. I've got the template that I use myself, which I'm going to give away for you guys. You'll get a 3-course meal and teas and coffees, but the accountability I think is going to be the best ones because there's a lot of times we start something when we're in the workshop and we don't follow through. Okay, so you receive 100% money back guarantee, but obviously not everyone is based in London and not everyone else can meet
or come to this event. So here are some testimonials of what people are saying about working with Michelle. And if you would like some of Michelle's time, some of my time, we'd like to offer a special webinar deal. So Michelle was happy to host this same event as part of a one-day intensive where you can pick Michelle's brains and you can get the toolkits that she's used about how you can really test drive your business. So Michelle or I can offer a group test drive your business intensive, which is obviously not as in-depth as a 2-day event, but definitely you will walk away with a condensed framework so that you have solutions. And if anyone has any questions, Dee has said that's fine, thank you. And for the purpose of the webinar attendees, the price, and anyone on Instagram that can attend, the price for the 2-day workshop is £270.
Yeah.
Anything else, Michelle?
No, and I just want to take the opportunity to say that we're here to help.
Yeah.
Kat's here to help.
Yeah.
And if you need to get in contact with her, please, reach out.
Yeah, I offer 3 programs. One is called the Business Accelerator. This is for anyone who's been in business and really doesn't have any systems. So they want to review their project management, their automated business systems, and just really want some help to accelerate to the next level. I've got a program called Package Your Brilliance, which is fantastic. I've got some great superstars on there at the moment, and we just look at what area that we can monetize for you in every area of your business. We rip it apart and we monetize you and then get all your systems in place. And then I've got the Sales Funnel Clinic. That's a little bit more technical, but I definitely refer people over to Michelle to make sure they're ready for this stage of the business. So as I said, if you're not able to attend this workshop, you can still request this, and you can find me at www.katrinayoungconsulting.com, or just contact Michelle. Michelle has a referral.
Brilliant. So are there any questions about what we discussed today? Feel free to put them in, or you can always contact us afterwards. So that's the link there for the 2-day workshop, which starts on the 24th. And if there's anything, I did promise you something, which I think is on the next slide.
Michelle's got a gift for you.
Yeah, the gift is the 32 checklist.
I'll give them a gift as well.
You
can blast your list. So I've got a gift that you can have, which is 24 strategies that you can use to acquire clients. So I'll give you the link for that for your.
So, and what's your email, your website?
www.katrinayoungconsulting.com. I've got a new one.
Brilliant. So this is for you guys. Feel free to contact.
And the book titles as well, Michelle, if we could just type those in.
Yes.
So it was, a recap, Michelle mentioned 3 books. There's a lady called Carol Sanker that Michelle mentioned about reaching out to. I recommend reading $100 Business Startup. It's really helpful. And I use the Miracle Work Week. And you've got all the books, fantastic. Michelle's adding the books now.
Sneezing in the background.
And so if anyone's got any questions, please let us know. Michelle, is there anything else?
No, I'm going to share the list. I think I can download it. Yeah.
Here it says Michelle.
I think it's on one of those.
Oh dear, is it here?
File sharing.
Okay, and
let's see if you guys can get this. That one, 32
ways.
So and if we download it,
share the file.
Yeah. So anyone on the webinar, please let me know if you get that PDF. And those on Instagram, hit me up, send me a message, and I will send you that PDF. And I think we're done.
We're done. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And if you would like to recommend anyone else, we've still got some people still on. Okay, let them know. And Michelle, if anyone needs some clarity around any of the steps that you've mentioned, Mike says it works fine. Fantastic.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you all. If you need either of us, you can find us online. Yeah.
Thanks
Thank
again.
you for joining.
Could you end that one?